All right, we're here with George Kittle, and the NFL draft obviously is going on this week. And George, it gets brought up many times over that the draft for a lot of athletes is one of the more memorable days in their life. With that in mind, thinking back on your draft experience in 2017, what do you remember? What is the big takeaway? What was that day like for you?
Oh, the biggest takeaway is that waiting to hear your name called really is not fun. Sitting there in a chair for 3 days and just for hours upon hours and because you're sitting there and you're like, hey, I think I'm a really good football player. I should get drafted. And then someone else gets drafted ahead of you. And you're just like, why would you draft him? Like, I'm right here. Like, call me. So that part gets old pretty quickly. But I forgot all of that as soon as I got the phone call and then a couple tequila shots into it. I had a great night after that, and it was really fun for me to get drafted. And but really for like all the kids that, their dream is to play in the NFL. So to get that phone call is incredible. And then, even because I have plenty of friends that were undrafted free agents that also said, hey, like that was an incredible phone call for me too. Cause I had an attempt to join an NFL football team. So just hearing your name called and being able to be a part of an NFL team, since there's only 32 of them in the world, it's pretty special.
I didn't think about it till you mentioned it, George, but you were day 3, you said? Like what? That's got to be extra agonizing.
I was like halfway through day 3.
That's got to be extra agonizing to have 2 full days of like watching the draft and then you're going to bed that night. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, I definitely, because I had a chance, like my agent, obviously all agents are like, hey, you're between the 3rd and the 6th round. Like you're somewhere in there. Yeah. But I'm like, all right, 3rd round. Like I'm interested. Like, and they have all the picks at the end, like those extra comped picks. And I was like, all right, there's like 20 more picks. I got a shot. And next thing I know, it's 11 o'clock. And I'm just laying in bed like, all right, well, maybe I'm not.
Could you get up and get snacks, or were you too worried to leave your phone? I feel like I would have just been glued to it. Like, what's the logistics of waiting to hear your name called?
Wow. Honestly, it's just, I had some friends and family that were there. We had like 15 people there at my house and just kind of hung out. And I basically just told everyone, please don't talk to me until after I get off the phone call. And I'm good after that. And so I was kind of completely by myself sitting in a recliner chair, just eyes glued to the TV. It was fun.
We all know what's happened since you've been drafted. You are now the franchise guy for the 49ers and on and on and on. All the accolades speak for themselves, George, at this point. But looking back on it now, as a guy who was taken in the 5th round, I'm curious, was that a chip on your shoulder situation? You said you took shots right after you were just excited to be a part of the team. Did some part of you have a chip on your shoulder? How many of the guys, I'll just cut straight to it. How many of the 145 guys taken before you do you remember, George? If I asked you to name all of those guys, do you know them all by name?
Patrick Mahomes is pretty good. I think he's done really well for himself. McCaffrey's pretty good. There's a ton of guys that should have gotten drafted for me. I had 48 catches in college. And I was hurt a couple times. So I understand it. But do I have a chip on my shoulder? No. I was just more amazed at the fact that I actually got an opportunity to chase my dream. And so I just took it, I was like, I'm not going to take it for granted. And I'm going to do everything I can with this opportunity because it's probably the only one I'm going to ever get that is actually like my dream as a 5-year-old kid and playing football in my backyard. So I just kind of ran with it. And I don't really have a chip on my shoulder. I love football so much that it's really easy for me to get motivated.
Mark, I think George is a better person than we are.
Yeah, I think so. I think I would not have taken that lightly.
No, don't say that about yourself. Positive vibes only.
That's amazing. So, George, you've been in the news quite a bit this week for probably what is one of the greatest interactions online, at least in the past year. When, Coach Shanahan said, when he was asked if Jimmy G was going to be the quarterback on Sunday, he said, I can't guarantee anybody in the world will be alive Sunday, which is like the most existential answer to a question I've ever heard. And you tweeted back, you said, what did you say? You said, I'll call you Sunday to let you know I'm alive, Coach.
I did. Yeah, I did. I said that. Well, just, hey, I got to let him know I'm alive. If he doesn't think anyone's there, I got to let him know he's not alone. But then did you see Freezing Takes wrote on it and they were like, hey, taking note of this. And I was like,
yeah, that's terrifying.
No, what are we doing? Don't say that. You guys stop it right now.
George, now that,
stop it.
Now that you do have a little clout, obviously with your team, and you are kind of the franchise guy with the 49ers, the 49ers for us neutral people observing the NFL draft, that seems to be your team seems to be the big discussion point in this draft. That's the pivotal moment in this draft where things could go one way or another. And there's a lot of chatter around what your team should do with the third pick. How do you, as the franchise guy, resist the urge to just be texting the front office at all times? Here are my thoughts. Here's what we have to do. Is that something you're doing? Are you in communication with what should be done with this pick? Yeah.
Right. Oh, don't do that. Don't Not shrug, really. George. Give us some intel.
I definitely like I always text my coaches. I'm like, hey, who are we drafting? And then my tight end starts like, I don't know. Like, why are you asking me? So I'll call Kyle, hey, who are we drafting? He's like, I'm not telling you. And I was like, come on, give me something for the people. I'm kidding. Whatever John and Kyle decide to do, I'm just excited to meet new teammates and get guys around in the building that want to win. So I'm looking forward to that. And when you have the third overall pick, I think that kind of makes you have kind of your choice of everybody around. And so you have the ability to bring someone in that can be a total game changer for the locker room, for the organization, for the whole team. So I'm looking forward to meeting whoever you drafted number 3, whether it's quarterback, tight end, wide receiver, D-line, whoever it is. I'm looking forward to meeting them.
So George, when you do you think that Jimmy G is going to be the quarterback on Sunday? And if you're not going to give us an answer, because I understand why you wouldn't give us an answer, what would your Kyle Shanahan existential answer be? How would you have gotten out of answering that question?
That's a great question, Chuck. Good job.
That is a great question. So how would I have gotten out of that? What the reporter asked Kyle, hey, is Jimmy G going to be your quarterback on Sunday? Yeah. What would I say to that? Well, me being me, I'm going to say, I can't wait. Jimmy G is going to be my quarterback. And, unless we bring in, if we bring another quarterback for competition, then may the best man win. And I just want to be out there with the best possible team. And I think everybody on our team knows that. And I think everybody on our team trusts Kyle and John that they're going to make the best decision, for our team. And whether that's, like I said, quarterback, tight end, wide receiver, whoever we bring in, I can't wait to play with them and compete with them.
How are you so good, George, of living above the fray with the business that is the NFL? That you feel like a lot of these things could wear a guy down, and having to keep your head on. If they do draft a tight end, are you suddenly worried about where you seem to be just above all of it and just hey, whatever happens, happens. And I'm here. How do you keep that spirit about you?
Well, I try to be as positive as I can, and I try to be an optimist about everything. So, I don't really everything I get told or everything information I get, I always look at it with an open mind, and I try to look at it in the most positive light possible. Because when you think about things very negatively, that's just kind of hard on you all the time. And so I might be completely out of my mind and a little bit loopy, but I'm a very positive person. I'm very happy all the time. So I'll take that over being kind of a dick. So I'm okay with being nice and happy all the time.
That's amazing. I feel like I'm, here I am paying therapists for years. I'm I should have just figured out whatever. I want what George Kittle's taking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I will say the reason I get to be confident in what I do and all that is the amount of hard work and everything I put into the off season, everything I put into the season allows me to be confident in myself. I don't really, I was talking to someone a little bit ago about how I just, how I'm just happy to be me. Right. And so I work as hard as I can so that I can be me every single day, and I don't have to be someone I don't want to be. And I just, that started at Iowa, look at myself in the mirror a little bit and translated into being a pretty good NFL football player. And I'm just trying to get better and better.
A pretty good NFL football player, also a pretty good actor. I want to talk to you about the Kingsford commercial you were in. How did this come about? Whose idea? Did you pitch this to them? Because it felt like something that was so up your alley that it felt like you could convince me that you went to Kingsford. You're let me do this versus the other way around.
Right.
You're not entirely wrong. But so they came to me hey, what are your thoughts on this? And I looked at it and I was like, it wasn't as over the top as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I've had a couple things pitched to me that were so outrageous. I was there's just no way I'm even going to try to touch that. But it wasn't too much in your face. It was fun. It was in my backyard, and it was with my buddy TJ Hawkinson. So I was hey, those are all positive things.
Yeah.
And, really, they're just hey, we have 100% hickory wood pellets, and you're a guy that shows off 100% all the time. You're always you. You're 100% authentic. And so we'd like you to talk about our 100% hickory wood pellets. And I was I would love to. That sounds really fun. And then they let me hit a bunch of wood pellet bags, the 50% wood pellets. I could hit those with steel chairs. I got to throw them against the wall. Like I was wrestling a bag of pellets, and I had an absolute blast. It was so much fun. And I got to eat all the food that I grilled after that too. So overall, it was a great experience. The 100% hickory wood pellets are incredible. Really beat out the competition. But yeah, it was fun for me. Is that enough of my plug?
No, that was a great plug. That was
I
great.
do have 2 questions though, George. Was that actually your backyard?
Yeah, that was my house.
That's
It's
amazing.
awesome. I've done like 3 or 4 different things at my house. I don't like driving places. I like being home.
That's amazing. Like if someone's like, "Hey, will you be in this ad?" and you're like, "Sure, do it at my house," and they're like, okay." My second question though is, in the ad, obviously you're wrestling. If anybody listening doesn't know, you're a huge WWE guy. I want to know what your favorite part of WrestleMania was. You couldn't go this year, but I'm assuming you watched it, and I want to know your thoughts.
Well, my favorite match is always like Seth Rollins is my favorite, just always and forever, just because he's an Iowa guy and I got to meet him a bunch of times. So I always love watching him fight. I've been a huge fan of Drew McIntyre, and I think his feud right now with Bobby Lashley, I like it a lot. They just beat the heck out of each other, which is really fun for me. So that's one I've really enjoyed. I like seeing Cesaro come up. I think, he wrestled Seth right at WrestleMania. So I like seeing Cesaro back in the mix. And then, the Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley. And then I was watching Monday Night Raw last night and watching Braun Strowman in there too. So that'll be a fun little a 3-person match at Backlash. Can't wait.
There we go.
I said a WWE promo too.
Yeah, no kidding.
I got to freaking paid.
This is unbelievable. How much is your love of wrestling? I'm going to cut to the chase. As a guy who is a Midwestern guy who is scared to grow my hair out for the longest time, I have used this pandemic, George, to now grow my hair out. I have it in a man bun as you do. You are new to the long hair game-ish as well. I'm curious, what is your strategy with this? Because I'm getting a lot of outside pressure from friends and family back home to cut the hair. What should I do? Should we hold strong? Look at that.
You have long hair, man. You're almost as long as mine. Look at that.
What is the plan, George? How often do you get it cut? How do you what is the strategy here? Cause I want to follow your lead and your plan with this thing.
I haven't cut this hair in 2 years or a year and a half, I think is what I'm at right now. All I do, I just continually shave the sides down because I don't know what I would do with all that hair. I don't really have a plan for it. I just kind of let it be itself. You can tell by my beard, I haven't had a plan for this either. I just kind of trim the sides a little bit and I just let it do its thing. But yeah, I mean, maybe I'm, just getting ready for my wrestling career after football.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh my God, I can't wait. You're going to be my favorite wrestler. Also, Mark, maybe you should think about shaving the sides now. Maybe I
should shave the sides. I think that's what I have to do. I have to start shaving the sides.
Do a bald fade. Looks the best.
Do the bald fade and keep it wet at all. George, you got to keep it wet at all times. That's the wrestling move too. Is like you always have a little moisture.
See, that is when you are watching wrestling and like they come out with the sleek back hair and then like after a 25-minute fight, it's dry and all poofy. I think that stuff's so funny. That's not fun. Like I would want to put it up in a bun at that point.
Well, George, we actually were talking about this last week on our show where we were like, what kind of oil do you think the wrestlers use? And Mark was like, I mean, obviously baby oil, right? And I was like, I was thinking olive. I'm not gonna lie.
They use something beyond water because like it's crazy how shiny. It's like, I don't know. It's a whole new level. That's what you got to figure out. You got to get in there, George.
I think so. So fun fact, when I was in college, my senior year in high school, my entire family dressed up as WWE wrestlers. And then we went out as well because we had a buy in college, which was awesome. I think that's what it was. And so I was Seth Rollins for Halloween. And my sister, I had a Seth Rollins wig, like with the blonde line in it, like back from when he was in the Shield.
Yeah.
And she just covered it in canola oil, covered it in just oil. And I was like, and she's like, it's going to look great. I put that thing on. It stained my shirt. I had to throw the shirt away. It smelled so bad. The wig smelled so bad. Everything. I was like, thank you for almost ruining my whole night. Like I'd be at the bars. I was like, what does that smell? And I'd be like, wow, that guy over there puked. It's crazy.
Oh, my God.
No, it was my hair.
We appreciate you making time for us. We hope this draft experience this go round is more enjoyable than it was 4 years ago for you. Do you have any plans for the draft this year? Are you doing anything in particular? Just kind of watching it at home, chilling. And I mean,
I'm not gonna lie, I don't ever watch the draft because it just makes me
really?
think about all those guys that are just, I don't ever watch it. I just follow on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like whenever the Niners are picking, I'll have the TV on, but I don't sit and watch it unless it's the Niners are picking. But at that point, I might FaceTime Kyle this year right before the number 3 pick gets in and say, hey, who'd we draft, so I can tweet it out real quick.
Oh,
I gotta be
you should do that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. If
I gotta beat him with a punch one.
Well, best of luck with the journalism career. Best of luck with the WWE career, and if nothing else, you can always fall back to being all-pro NFL tight end.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks
like maybe if this football thing, you could ride this up for a little. Also, you're welcome as the People's Tight End. You're welcome on the People's Sports Podcast literally anytime. So just say the word.
We're kind of hand in hand, aren't we? Like we should just be. Yeah. I mean, whatever you guys want me back, I'll come back and I'll talk about anything. Like, I mean,
amazing.
Like I said, I live out here in Nashville by myself, and so like I'm down to talk and hang out with some people.
We gotta get you on to talk Big Ten football, George. That's what we need. Is at the height.
I would love to talk Big Ten football. Get me talking about Nebraska. Get me talking about Nebraska. I will roast them.
We'll both just crap on Nebraska together.
And fun. I'll be sitting here pretending I know you guys are talking
easy. About. Yeah. Perfect. All you have to do is say "Go Big Red" every once in a while. That's all you got to say.
Okay. I'm
all right,
Go Big
thanks,
Red.
George.
I got it.
You're the best.
Bye, George.
Thank
you.
Hey, pals. Thanks for watching the People's Sports Podcast YouTube channel. For more of mine and Mark's very weird rabbit holes, stick around, watch more. You can subscribe, smash that subscribe button. You know you want to. We're going to give you all the weird stuff we possibly can.